Yeah, let's do it.
It's easy to sum it up. We talking about practice.
Because it's about as casual as it gets. What's the problem now?
That's a clown question, bro.
I think we ought to change the beat at least.
World champions!
Start playing with some jam in here. Let's go.
Philadelphia, looking as only you can look. Woo!
Here we go.
Click on Zombie Apocalypse.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to week 24 of the J&P podcast. My name is Patrick Wilson. I am proudly joined by my co-host, Jonathan Papp, and our special guest, Samantha Wismer. How you guys doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. That intro was a little quick. That seemed a little fast.
What? Me?
No. Our little thing at the end. You didn't think it was like the beat was a little quick?
I didn't even hear it go. Like, it was very intermittent for me.
Yeah, it was very quick. But well.
Okay. That's something we're probably going to have to work on. Samantha, why don't you explain a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Samantha. I used to cover the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. Right now I'm on a little bit of a hiatus just to take care of some mental health issues. But other than that, yeah. I'm still covering them on Twitter.
All right.
Sure you guys saw my tweets last night about how badly they were doing, but
well, you can see my tweets tonight about how bad this team's doing. So
yeah,
here we go.
Yeah. Well, first things first, we hope you figure out your mental health issues soon. And I'm sorry you're going through all that right now. Definitely take care of yourself first. That is top priority, no matter what.
Yeah, the team can wait for coverage.
Yeah, especially. I mean, at least you're still able to go every day. So I mean, every home game.
I put it to somebody last night. I was like, "Look, I already invested $1,400 into these tickets for this year. I'm not letting it go."
You might as well make it worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're gonna do a little recap of the Flyers and Phantoms. So right now, I'm pretty sure all three of us are not happy with either team. And I know for a fact Samantha's not happy with the Royals team either. So
no, I think, as John said before, like father, like son, and it filtered down from the Flyers. I mean, the Phantoms have just been bad from the start. The Royals started off great, but now they're in a downswing.
Now, can you explain how the Royals are connected to the Phantoms and the Flyers?
So the Royals are basically the baby brother. They are the ECHL team, so they are the step below the AHL, where we bring guys up if obviously we feel like they're ready for the AHL level.
And that's only like a certain amount of players. Like there's a bunch of teams that filter into the Reading Royals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we only have like 4 or 5 guys there.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of players on that team. In the AHL, unlike the NHL, you were allowed to carry an unlimited amount of players.
Interesting.
Okay. And basically, they work the same way as, well, like when the Flyers recall somebody from the AHL, then the Phantoms recall somebody from the Royals to fill in that roster spot, and it basically filters down.
So, we have a goalie right now, Sam Ersson. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with him. I know he is injured. His injury is undisclosed.
Like all hockey injuries.
Yeah. It's either upper body, lower body, or undisclosed. But we did bring up Kirill Ustimenko a couple weeks ago and to fill in. And right now we actually have 3 goalies on the Phantoms. One is a professional tryout contract. His name is Jonathan Gillies, and he did absolutely phenomenal last night. Okay. He's really big. He's like 6'6", 6'7". He's huge for a goalie. But then we also have Felix Sandstrom, who was the Reading Royals goalie at one point. He's now our goalie. And we have Sam Ayerson as well.
All right. So it looks like we have all the goalie positions kind of filled out for the AHL and NHL.
Yeah.
All we really need is defense and offense.
How about players that won't turn the puck over? Now, is that a problem with the Phantoms? Do they have a turnover issue?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Just wanted to ask.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
So it's a whole organization thing.
It's the
not
whole
just
thing.
the Flyers.
I mean,
Okay.
if you're going to be consistent, you might as well make it through the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. It's huge turnover issue. And I think that's the case of losing most of our games. Also, I just don't shoot myself for saying this. I don't think Lappy's a good coach.
That is one of my questions.
Okay.
I understand the record, but what have you seen from him? What has he done well, I guess?
I don't think he's pumping the guys up enough to really go out there and play to their ability. And, the main part of the ECHL and the AHL is to eventually at one point get up to the NHL. Right now, I hate to say it, but none of these guys on the Phantoms or the Royals are ready for the NHL, except with the exception of Morgan Frost. Now, I've said in the past, I felt like Morgan Frost was a bust. The kid is going to make me eat my words this year. Maybe, possibly, if the Flyers ever get good. And Connor Bunneman. Connor's been kind of quiet with the Phantoms this year. He's only made one goal. But he's a good, decent player. So I expect him to do well with the Flyers.
Okay. And we got Chris here. Shot in the face equals upper body injury. So
and then they're back out on the next shift.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Ian LaPerriere did that plenty of times with the Flyers.
See, I think with Ian LaPerriere, I think he was a great assistant coach. And I think he still needs to learn how to be a head coach, because I think I do like what he did in the past. And just from different things that I've heard, that he's helped the Flyers a lot. But I do hear what you're saying about he doesn't get them motivated enough. I mean, part of me says, you're playing professional hockey, you should be motivated by itself. But I also understand that you need somebody to kind of keep going and to not make the same mistakes that the big club is making.
And you can tell that Lappy is getting frustrated. A few weeks ago when I covered the game for Flyers Nitty Gritty, and I went into the press area, and in the press conference, he would normally come in and like say hi to everybody, and he knows the reporters by names. There's only like 3 or 4 of us that go. And he would come in and say hi to each of us, like with our names and stuff. And he came in that one game, and you could tell like he was just rattled. He didn't say hi to any of us. He just sat down and he's like, "What questions do you have?" Like, stone face. And I was like, "Oh,
all right.
Well,
it's gonna be one of those days." Maybe we should bring him the flower technique.
You got to grow it from the roots, then they expand, and then they come all the way up and they sprout like the Eagles have, sort of.
And another thing, I was talking to somebody, and I forget who I had this conversation with. My brain's just mush right now. But they feel like he's trying to model the Phantoms after the Flyers system, like AV system. And I don't think that's going to work.
I think you kind of have to, in my opinion, just so that it's not a big adjustment when people do get moved up. It's the same system, just different players. Because that's a big thing with the Phillies right now. Like, their whole system, top to bottom, was different. Like, their single A was different from their triple A. So by the time they moved all the way up, they had to relearn and it took them longer to develop. So I think with minor league teams, I think you have to have it modeled somewhat the same. But I also think AV could be on his way out very soon if they don't turn it around. So
Yeah, I
he
mean,
might
I
have
don't
the
think AV
freedom
is going
to.
anywhere.
we all remember the timeline of Dave Haxtell getting tossed out the door. So
Yeah.
that timeline's coming up very shortly.
Yeah. So AV has lost 5 straight. And I just don't think that he has any answers right now. And it sounds like Ian LePerriere is having the same issue. He just doesn't have any answers, and he just doesn't know how to work with it right now.
And I mean, it is his first season as head coach, so I do have to give him that. He is learning a completely different position, but at the same time, you were an assistant coach with the big league.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he has to have
That
somewhat of an
much
idea.
It shouldn't be that much of a transition, but and we are also very highly injury bitten in Lehigh Valley right now. We have a bunch of guys out on injury, so that's not helping the case. We had one guy come back last night. One.
And Cam York is now on COVID protocols. So
Yes.
I did see that last night.
I hope he
Our
gets
one
better
good guy.
soon. It happens. The cases are getting high again, but I hope he gets well soon. The game for today against Hershey and the game for Wednesday against Hershey are canceled, or not canceled. They are postponed due to COVID affecting the Bears. So I hope everybody gets well soon, because I was kind of looking forward to Wednesday. But
yeah, how has Cam York played? Speaking of him,
he's been kind of quiet, but he's been playing solid. I like his play. He's small, but he's fast. He's very fast.
mm-hmm.
So,
Does he? I don't really. I mean, I've only seen a couple games of him, and I saw the gold medal game when he played for Team USA. Does he get involved in the offense a lot? Like, does he try and jump and make plays in the offensive end? And
I don't think so. I don't think he's that type of offensive defenseman, but he definitely does block the puck. Along with Wyatt Wiley, I'm very I think very highly of Wyatt. But yeah, they're probably our 2 best defensemen, along with Zamola.
Well, with Ryan Ellis out, I mean, and if somebody else goes out, one of those 2 are coming up, I would have to think.
Out of all 3 that I just mentioned, I think Zamola would get the call up first.
Yeah, and I think he played well those one game up last year.
Yeah, I know Zamula I think Zamula got called up a couple times last year.
I think
Actually.
he played 4 games.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
He's a smaller guy, right?
Yeah. They actually asked him to bulk up because he was that small, and he took it seriously over the off season. So he's a little bit bulkier, but he's still skinny.
Well, I mean, if he has the same issue I do, he's going to have that for a while. No, I definitely think Zamula would come up first, and what I've seen out of his game, I do like his game. I also like Cam York's game a lot too. So, I mean, I wouldn't be upset if either of them came up to help the Flyers out.
Cam's great. I absolutely adore Cam.
Same.
I did a press conference last season. Now, last season we were all on Zoom. There was no in person, and I always got this shoved in my face by one of my friends. It was my turn to ask Cam a question, and someone had her mic on mute. And Cam had to tell me, "Hey, I think your mic is muted." I was mortified.
That's my biggest fear in anything.
I was mortified. Like, I would have been more mortified if it was a Flyer and I did that, but like, it was Cam York and it was his first press conference for anything in like Philadelphia. So,
oh man,
that's a big welcome to the city.
I did. I said welcome to Lehigh Valley.
That's
He seems
awesome.
like a chill dude, though.
He does.
You know what? A lot of the guys are. Felix Sandstrom is actually, he's not so like personable, but that's his nature from what I've heard when he was down with the Royals. Like he's just not very people centered, but he's great to talk to in press conferences. And you can tell that he just has an immense amount of knowledge, obviously, but just being in the game, you could tell that he just truly loves the game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I foresee that if one of them, meaning Hart or Jones, get hurt, I can see him being called up.
Yeah.
Because
God forbid.
no offense to anybody, but he's literally been standing on his head this season with the Phantoms.
Sounds like Carter Hart last year and a little bit the last 10 games this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like an organizational problem that starts at the top. And I don't think it's Chuck Fletcher's fault that it's like this, but I also think he needs to pick the right coach eventually.
Yeah. And
That's a big issue.
and
Coaching
another
has
thing,
been a
Yeah.
huge issue.
and another thing when it comes to goaltending is, yeah, we have Carter Hart, we have Martin Jones. They're both great. I wasn't so keen on Martin Jones in the beginning, but he's proven that he's a solid backup. But the thing we do in this organization is we wear out our goalies.
Yeah.
You
Ilya
know,
Bryzgalov.
I mean, you got to look at it. We wore out Carter Hart last season. We wore out Brian Elliott last season. We had to bring Alex Lyon up. We wore out Alex Lyon in Lehigh Valley for 5 years. I don't blame him for wanting to leave Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's lighting it up in Chicago and Carolina. Like
Mhm.
they're winning almost every game out in Chicago.
With Marc-Andre Fleury.
I don't want to hear that.
We don't win anything out here. Like just throws a bone.
When Alex left, he was on his last year of his contract. He got picked up by the Hurricanes, and he's playing for their AHL team, which is the Chicago Wolves.
Okay.
But then he got called up to Carolina, and he won his only start in Carolina.
Well, I would too with that lineup in front of him.
Yeah.
Dude, Carolina's insane this year. So with Alex Lyon being in Chicago and having a bunch of different players being injured, who do you want to see more out of by the end of the season by the Phantoms?
See more out of?
Yeah. And I don't want just like a general everybody. Like, who do you think has been underperforming recently that by the end of the season, like there's still plenty of hockey left for both teams. So who do you want to see more out of and get more comfortable by the end of the season?
Get more comfortable. I'm honestly going to say Wyatt Wiley. He's a solid D-man, but he was just out on injury for, I think 3 or 4 weeks, sprained shoulder. And you could just tell he wasn't comfortable last night when he came back. I mean, granted, first game back after injury, but he just wasn't comfortable.
Okay. So Wyatt Wiley, okay. I can see that. Like, we haven't really done too much with him in the NHL. So I haven't really seen.
I know he played in like a preseason game, but obviously, I mean, they had all the guys play in preseason.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I haven't really seen too many Phantoms games because it's not really broadcasted on TV, and then they're also like an hour and a half away from John and I.
Yeah,
it's kind of tough to get up there.
And if you want to watch them, you got to pay like $70 for the season.
Yeah. I will stick with the pan of my regular team. Thank you. Yeah. Now, I got a question. Do the Phantoms how much offensive zone time do you think they get? Do you think they, it's kind of balanced? Do you think it's, they spend more time at the defensive end? What do you think that is, like, percentage wise?
I wouldn't even be able to tell you.
The Flyers, I could just spitballing here. It might be like 95-5 that they're in the defensive zone, like all the time.
I mean, last
like-
night, it was just bad. There was nobody in front of Gillies when he was in net. They just weren't playing up to par last night. And I mean, it's not just last night. It's just they're not where they need to be. It's kind of like watching the Flyers from last season.
Great.
That's a kick in the stones, isn't it?
Bad news.
That's a kick in the stones. To know that nothing is all right in this organization.
I thought we were doing so good in the beginning. And then John started talking to me a little bit more about the Phantoms and how they were off to like a 7-game losing streak. And now the Flyers are on a 5-game losing streak. I'm like, what?
Yeah, he sitting in my house the other day and he's like, yeah, I think the Phantoms are doing all right. I'm like, Pat, bro, they're 3-10 or whatever they are.
I just know the players that were on the team, so I just assumed we were doing okay. York, Morgan Frost, Wiley.
We lost the first 7 games, and then we won 3, and now we're on another 7-game losing streak. We have not won since November 10th.
Dang.
Okay, so I think that's roughly around the last time Flyers won too.
All right, let's flip the script here. Who has been their best player? Who's been the best standout of the Phantoms this year?
When he's not called up, Max Wellman.
Okay.
Oh, I honestly thought she was going to say Morgan Frost.
Well, she came to the fan club of Morgan Frost right here.
Eat my words because I know Frankie James is watching. Yeah.
The lone member in the Morgan Frost fan club. We think he's played great this year.
In the beginning, I said he was a bust because he wasn't playing great, but he has been playing great. And Frankie, yes, I'm eating my words right now.
Because Pat, let's give you a little story. So I messed up the tickets a couple years ago. And instead of buying tickets to the Phantoms game, I bought tickets at the Hershey game where they were playing the Phantoms. So we had to drive to Hershey instead of Lehigh Valley. But we got better seats, so I did make up for it. We were like 3 rows from the glass. I was going to say,
in a way, it was the same distance.
Yeah. But it's I forget what I was going to say. Oh, we went there for Morgan Frost, and well, I did at least.
John got to touch
was
his
right
glove
there,
and he melted.
Yeah, I did, and we still haven't washed that hand since. No, yeah, he just moves so calmly and like just so silky smooth around, and like even the game the other night, like he's on the second power play and he's creating chances. He's on that second line. He's creating chances. He's taking shots. He's gotten a little stronger. So he's hitting some people when it's the right play. I just think he's going to be a really good player for a long time.
And like Frankie said, God, I hate agreeing with this kid. Like him or not, Frost has been incredible. The only offense they have, especially since Tyson Forrester is now out for the season.
Whoa.
How'd that come up?
Okay.
Alrighty then.
We are seeing a little bit of everything on this podcast.
But lock that.
Probably coming from YouTube. Yeah.
No, I don't think
oh, what the heck?
We've heard a lot about Tyson Forrester.
I would have pointed him out, but he's injured.
Has he played at all this year?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. How's he played in those games?
Solid.
Okay.
I wouldn't say he played terrible. He And
is he a center or is he a winger?
He's center, maybe. I don't remember at this point.
Good, because we are
I could be wrong.
hurt.
Frankie's probably going to correct me.
We are severely hurt at the big league club at the center position, and I don't see it getting
ironic.
Yeah.
Last year we were like filled, and now this year we're hurt.
We're filled if we're healthy, and we're screwed if we're not. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I do have to make a point about something that Lappy said a couple weeks ago is that he underplays guys that should be on the penalty kill and power plays, and he overplays guys that should be on the penalty kill and the power plays. So, I mean, he said he should be having, like Wiley out there. He should be having Wilson out there, and he's not. And I'm just like, you know this, but like you're not putting them out there.
Yeah. I mean, some of that could be just direction from the front office. I mean, I know from the Eagles, I mean, in years past, the GM has told the coach who to put on the active day roster. Like, that's not how it should work. It should be the coaches that are with them all day, every day, that making that decision. So it could be something from up above where he's just like, that's his way of telling you without directly telling you that he's being told something.
Yeah. But
Right.
like I said before, we are highly injury bitten now with the news of this past week with Tyson Forrester being out for a solid 5 months. That's the rest of the season.
Because I've seen him get a little feisty too in recent memory.
Tyson, yeah, he can be a little bit feisty. He's never really gotten into a fight. I don't think he's that type of physical player. He's not like a Hayden Hodgson or a Garrett Wilson up there, but he can get a little feisty. Zayd Wisdom, before he got sent back to the OHL,
Yes.
he was definitely he was a little feisty. Someone we're seeing a lot of physicality out of this year is Isaac Ratcliffe.
Ooh.
That's
He was from a couple years ago, the draft.
I have a video on my phone from preseason. My friend Danielle had taken it, and he took a Hershey bear to the ground. Like, literally just picked him up and threw him on the ground. It was great to watch.
Because something that frustrates me is Travis Konechny. I don't need you to go out and fight people. I need you to be a pest and, hand wash a guy's face like when the play's over, and just be annoying. I don't need you to be in a fight. Just be annoying and make the other team know where you're at on the ice.
Now you speak about Jerry Mayhew. Is that for us?
Yeah, like I don't think Travis Konechny does that enough, honestly. He did his first couple years. In the last 2 years, I mean, I just don't know where it's gone. I mean, I don't know if that's coaching telling him not to do it or
It was
not.
funny
But
'cause last night Jerry Mayhew was being annoying, and one of the other players got really just angry with Garrett Wilson. The guy next to me, he's older, and he was like, yeah, do we not piss off 49? That's not a good idea. And it's never a good idea to piss off Garrett Wilson. It doesn't end well for anybody.
Oh my. Now you brought up Zay Wisdom. What's his deal?
So he had shoulder surgery in, I want to say, August. He was due to come back to the AHL, but I guess they decided to send him back to the OHL just for a little bit more development in that league, especially with injury.
Because I thought I think he had a breakout year last year, right? He was playing really well.
Oh yeah, him, Tyson Forrester. This team, if we had a Calder Cup, we probably would have made it into the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
We were that good. We were winning every game. And now this year, it's like, oh, do I get drunk or
and it's not like they've lost a lot of people. I mean,
no, I mean, most of this team has been together for the last year, so that's just where nobody is understanding what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer in winning in the minor leagues. I mean, I know people say it doesn't matter, but I mean, if you see, because the only minor league system other than hockey is baseball, and in baseball, usually good young core of like 4 or 5 players, they win in the minor leagues all the way up, and then it finally develops into the major leagues. So I think winning at the Lehigh Valley level needs to happen so that you can learn how to win there. Then you move up, you learn how to win there, and then boom, you're already connected, and the chemistry is already there, but when you get there.
Winning at the minor league level needs to transfer into winning at the major league level.
And we can't do either. So I guess they're consistent.
I mean, I've been watching the games when I'm at work, like the Flyers games, because I'm working and it's on TV for free.
Exactly.
And I watched the Florida game the other night. They played Florida, right? Yeah. Or no, Carolina. One of the two.
Pick a Metropolitan Division team. They've played them in the last 10 days.
So it was Carolina. It was the last game, and it just
Okay.
like I had gotten off of work. I had my after shift drink, and it was just like I'm watching the replays, and I'm just like, oh, what is going on? Like,
Yeah, well, the Flyers are known for getting up a lot of goals in the second period, and that's exactly what they did. The first period, they looked solid. They looked really good, and they even finished 2-1. And then next thing you know, 3 goals in a minute and 22 seconds, and then they finished the period 5-3 for Carolina. And then at that point, they just need to pick it up in the third again, try and get a couple more goals, but they ended up letting one more in, and that was just game at that point. So,
yeah, it was just something else.
I mean, the one time that they score more than 2 goals, they give up 6. Like what's up with that? Usually it's like 2-1, 3-1, and they just can't score.
The Phantoms Friday night were up. It was like a 2-1 game, and then they played. Forgive me, I forget who they played, but the team that they played Friday night, it went from 1. Another goal scored. Another goal scored. Another goal scored. And I'm just like, oh my God, what is going on?
People pay good money for that.
So what period do you think is the worst for the Phantoms at this point? All 3.
No, they tend to play solid in the first and part of the second, and then if they're up, halfway into the second, they lose it.
So they just seem to not keep the momentum going.
And sometimes we get into the third where we're still up by like 1 goal, and then like a typical Flyer move below it.
Just be on their heels.
Okay. Now, how good are they in shootouts?
They're not. We've lost most of our games in a shootout.
Fair enough. I was just thinking that we could maybe like call a reliever up or something just for a shootout. But I guess that's out of the cards.
I mean, last night the lone goal of the game was made by Captain Cal O'Reilly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's with him? I mean, I know he's been there for a while. Like, has he made
third year?
Yeah. Has he made any progress to maybe get moved up, or is it just a numbers thing where the Flyers are just so strong at center where they're just?
I mean, I think he's a solid player. He's just an AHL veteran.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know how that happens. Sometimes those guys just don't get moved up for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I think it could be a numbers thing.
It could be, yeah. But I mean, I've always thought he's a great player. He got his 500th assist last season. And his brother made like a little video for him, and Cal was crying. Everybody in the stadium was crying.
That's awesome. I love when family comes and supports the players.
Especially because his brother is an NHL player.
Oh, okay.
For the Blues?
The Ryan O'Reilly, right?
Yep, Ryan O'Reilly.
Okay. Wow, that's one hockey-oriented family, just like the Hughes brothers.
Or even the Hayes family.
Hayes family too, yeah.
The Kachucks are related to them.
They're so good.
Ryan Fitzgerald is another player we're missing from the Phantoms, and we could really, really use him right now.
Who is that?
He is Kevin Hayes and Jimmy Hayes' cousin.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
connections that we did not know about on this podcast.
Exactly.
That is why we have her on, ladies and gentlemen.
That's exactly why we have her on. Oh shoot, I had a question, but I completely forgot it.
It's all good.
John, pick me up a little bit.
Well, I could talk about Carter Hart for days. I mean,
He's
we
another one of the solo Carter Hart Club.
one thing you got to know about me is if I have a player that I like, I am not gonna back down when people, want them to get moved. Like I was a big Carson Wentz person. I'm a big Ben Simmons person. You're not gonna talk me off of not being a fan of them. It's the same thing with Morgan Frost and Carter Hart because I followed Carter Hart when he first got drafted and he was overseas or in Canada, wherever he was. And he was just a complete stud. I was telling Patrick and our other friend just how good he is. And then he comes up in his first year and, he plays lights out. And then last year, they're all like, oh, like what happened? I'm like, the defense gives up 50 shots a game. I don't know what you want him to do. And I said, why don't you get back there and net? So my question is, do you see any possible backup opportunities? So like Mark Jones is on a 1-year deal. Do you see anybody from the Phantoms being able to be that backup guy at the NHL level for a couple of years?
Yeah, Sandstrom.
That's who I thought was in mind. But who's that other guy who played last night?
Jonathan Gillies. He used to play for the Maine Mariners, which is another ECHL team. I believe he played for another team, but I'm really not sure. He was literally picked up Friday and put in nets last night. But he's solid. His numbers are great. I'm a huge numbers person when it comes to goalies. I don't know why. I look at their numbers and I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, we also have Pat Nagel. He's an ECHL, AHL veteran, so I don't really see him being, transferred to the NHL. But he could, if Sandstrom does get moved up, I could see Pat Nagel being signed to an AHL contract.
Because I guess what I'm getting to is like Carter Hart is eventually going to become a veteran of 5-6 years, and he's not going to need a 34-year-old guy to teach him how to do things. No. So if you could flip that and make him the veteran and bring in a younger guy, I don't really know how old Sandstrom is, but a guy who doesn't have much NHL experience.
He's like 25, 26.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Carter Hart's still younger.
Or if, Sam Ersson comes back this season or, plays next season, I could potentially see Sam Ersson being backup.
Okay.
For sure. He has too much NHL potential in him to not be a backup or starting.
Because I'm a big picture person. I'm a big I think a lot like a GM, like, oh, we need him for a couple of years down the road. Like, just stash him away. Patrick is more of a, bro, they lost last night. They stink,
So he's more logical.
The past 5 games are proving me right. Like, I don't know what you want me to say.
So is Pat the more logical and you're trying to rationalize everything?
I try and say, how do I want to put this? Pat, help me out here.
When it comes to the Flyers, I think John is the more rational one, and I'm the one that's like, I want to win now.
I have patience. I have a lot of patience with a lot of different teams and a lot of different players.
Well, John, after 16, 17 games, I have no more patience with this team.
Well,
she's in my boat. Let's go.
Yeah, I take back my comment about winning in the AHL level means anything. Just kidding.
I do have to say one of their wins was against the Hershey Bears, so I'll take that because we never.
Good. Screw the Hershey Bears. We went there and we were the enemies in their building, and I guess we could tell this story. We were with our friend Zach, who is he likes to get a little rowdy, and I don't know if you've ever been to a Hershey Bears game, but after they score, the other team scores, they're like, who cares? So we picked up on that. So the next time the Phantom scored, they said, who cares? And we all went, we do. And we stood up and made like a big show about it. And then we were walking out and the Flyers were playing the Capitals that night. Correlation there with the Hershey Bears, and the Phantoms lost the game in a shootout. Go figure. But the Flyers beat the Capitals that night, and we're all like, "Who cares about Lehigh Valley? We're worried about this team." And that was when
Yeah, and
right
Zach
before
started
COVID
banging on my
happened.
truck, and I yelled at him for it. Yeah, that was a good time.
That was right before COVID when they were good.
It's
Yeah.
funny, you have a friend, Zach, that's rowdy. I have a friend named Zach who's very rowdy.
Oh my!
But it's fine. He's a Flyers and Phantoms fan and Maple Leafs. So
How's that work?
You can't be a Flyers and Maple Leafs fan.
Pick
Gotta
one.
Pick
Be
one.
on the bandwagon or be
You gotta
off.
pick one.
Listen. He's originally from Toronto, so
Well, then be a Maple Leafs fan.
Yeah, we'll make fun of him either way. Like, just be a Maple Leafs fan.
But yeah, so actually during preseason, I went to Wilkes-Barre, the Mohegan Sun Arena, to watch Wilkes-Barre and Phantoms play, and I was wearing my my Phantoms jersey, and the mascot Tux, I think that's his name, he literally came running after me because of the jersey I was wearing. And like he had his eyes on me the entire night, and when he got on the Zamboni, he like looked at me, and I was like, "What?"
And then he started chasing you, and you became terrified.
I literally
now
looked
haunt
at
you
him,
in your
like,
sleep.
I'm like, dude, you're in a costume, like, just stop.
I would have been terrified having like some 8-foot monster coming after me.
Their mascot is just savage. Like, I thought Melvin was like our mascot, Gritty Jr. But no one tops Gritty, honestly.
Well, except the Philly Fanatic.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Good old Fanatic.
Yeah. Savage wise, yes, Gritty. Gritty's top. No matter what, Gritty's top. Throwing cakes at
Gritty has a Twitter
fans of the other
that's why.
team and stuff. Like, yeah. Gritty's definitely up top there. But Fanatic will always be number one in our hearts. All right, so with the current struggles of the Phantoms and the Flyers, what do you think they need to work on most to get back in that winning column?
Their power play. Penalty kills all right. Power play is awful. Awful.
There was an occurring theme.
When I say
awful,
I mean atrocious.
Like 5 for like their last 53 bad, or
atrocious.
Oh, is that the Flyers right now?
Yeah. Or like worse.
It's worse.
Oh my god. Bruh. I forgot you had those up.
Yeah. I had to use it eventually.
All right. So
that sound, I literally looked at my friend Joe Bork, who is with Flyers Nitty Gritty and Steel Flyers Network. I literally looked at him during the one power play, and that's what I said. I was like, "Bruh, what's going on?" At this point, like, I'm already a truly deep, so I needed Tim Hortons at that point.
So basically, what you're saying is get a couple more Trulies in you, and then you might be able to have a little bit of patience.
Yeah.
Or less. I'm pretty sure alcohol makes you go the other way.
That, but I mean, I did go to Tim Hortons during the second intermission, so.
Props.
Because I've only been to the PPL Center once, and that was last year. It's pretty small.
It is. It's very small.
It's like engraved in a building.
Yep.
You could walk, Pat. You could literally walk right by it and think it's like a corporate building.
And there's two brothers that own it, so
really?
they own everything, including like the restaurants that are in it, the arena, the hotel. Like they own that entire strip of street.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Pat, we're gonna have to go one time, and we're just gonna have to. I mean, it's pretty crowded, but like we're gonna have to go.
Oh, I could care less about that. Worst comes to worst, just wear a mask.
Honestly,
no, I meant like car traffic crowded.
Oh, okay.
Honestly,
you won't be driving. You don't care.
I'm gonna say if you want Chicken Pete's crab fries, the line is very long during
That's
games.
John.
Yeah, well, we like to get there right when the gates open anyway to go watch warm-ups and stuff. So
Yeah,
we could grab that real quick.
yeah, definitely. You're gonna have to.
Good to know. Good tip. I like that one. You got any more questions for her, John?
Organization blows. I don't know what to tell you.
Go Birds.
Top to bottom, go Birds.
Yeah, hey, they're kind of turning it around.
They win today, and we're talking division, winning a division.
Talking 500 right now, right?
Well, at least we're not the Detroit Lions.
Year after year after year, they're
That was
awful.
so funny.
0-10 is their record.
0-10-1.
Well,
You gotta give them the tie. They got a tie.
I mean, we got a tie last year, so I can't really talk.
Yeah. No, I just saw a video of this one dude who was like, "Yeah, every single time I turn the game on for the Lions, they're always losing." And then he flipped it around. He's like, "Huh, they're actually winning this time." And then a comment right underneath was like, "That lasted long." They started losing like 10 minutes later.
Oh, brother.
Well,
Who do we play today? Or we're playing today, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Flyers, yes.
Yeah,
mean,
Phantoms are postponed.
against the Devils, away.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Yeah, they're playing really well.
Well, to be fair, the Devils are probably the worst team that we're going to be playing against for the entire month of November. So if we have any chance of winning a game right now, it'd be against them to flip things around.
Well, their AHL team, the Utica Comets, is actually the last time I looked, they were undefeated.
Really?
Yeah, they're the
Ooh, so
only. They were the
they
only.
got
team.
a good depth system.
Not this team.
Yeah. All right. I'm a little curious about what you think of this, Sam.
I mean, Jesse's right. Honestly, I don't think disbanded is. Most of the Phantoms are hurt. He's absolutely right on that. I'm not sure what he meant by disbanded, but I mean, something needs to change.
Pat, go suit up. And put him some weight like Igor.
Wrong side. I already got my Flyers jacket on. I'm ready to go. I'll go in there and tank a couple kids. Don't worry.
I was trying to convince somebody on Twitter. He's like, he played for a long time, and I was like, dude, I was just you're a Phantom now. Just go put on a jersey, go put your skates on, get out there. Somebody needs to do something. Like I wrote an article right in the beginning of the season. We were probably four losses in, and I was just like, this life support. This team is on life support right now, and we're dead. We're dead right now. There is something needs to change. We have too much talent on this team to be losing like this, and I don't know. You know, like I said, I don't think Lappy's a good head coach. Maybe it's just a transitional thing. I don't know what's coming in that area. But again, we also have Jason Smith and Riley Armstrong as assistant coaches.
I've never heard of them before in my life.
Jason Smith was a captain for the Flyers for a year.
Oh, okay. So they should be able to do something because they know the game.
Just something needs to change.
All right.
I think it's got to come from the front office, though. I think it's got to start with AV going if they continue to lose. And then I think that they have to look at the whole organization after the season and just be like, look, we need to change this now because we have a core that can win right now. You're not going to have a better homegrown core than right now because you got to get JVR out of here with that contract. You can sign somebody else. You need to start influencing these young guys because all we heard for the last 2 years was how good their farm system is. There we are.
Yeah. I lied about the Utica Comets. Comets record-setting season opening win streak ended at 13 straight in a loss to the Rochester Americans. But
Okay, so they weren't
they won
undefeated.
13 straight.
We can have
So they have a
13
good
straight
process.
not scoring on power play streak, if that counts. We could do that multiple times in a week.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it's more than that at this point. So Sam, do you have any questions for us by any chance?
No, I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me on. It was a fun time.
Absolutely. It was great. Yeah.
Glad
We
you called
truly
this fun.
We truly appreciate you. We truly appreciate you coming out and talking with us.
Yeah, no problem.
It was definitely a lot of fun.
We'll
even
have
though
to get
our
another
teams stink.
update. We'll have to get another update in a few weeks and see if they turn things around.
Yeah, check back with me in like end of February.
End of February. All right. Write that down, Pat.
Put it in
No,
the
sticky note.
comments right now.
End of February. February. It's not how you spell it, but it's okay.
I was gonna say, are you misspelling it? All right, perfect.
Wow, it just like came up end of February.
Yeah, he put it in the comments.
Oh, okay. I'm not very bright.
Well,
It's okay, neither are we.
I can't spell February, so
I'm pretty sure that's not how you spell it either.
no, it is. Grammarly
is?
corrected it for me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. So none of us are that bright.
Okay.
All right. Well, if that's the case, thank you everybody for coming out to week 24 of the JMP Sports Podcast. We truly appreciate everybody being here. Truly appreciate the support. And Samantha, again, it was awesome having you here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about John, but I loved having you here. I'm pretty sure he did too. He better have.
Yeah, it was
Watching
awesome.
you.
It was awesome. I don't know what to tell you.
Let's go Flyers, because I'm not even gonna say let's go Phantoms. I'm so frustrated with them.
See, one thing that I do is I like being that, everybody coming at me. So like, I'll be like, all right, Flyers. Like I love like digging into people's skin, just being like saying like stupid comments. So, let's go Flyers.
Absolutely. And I'll say let's go Phantoms.
Thanks.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
So our next podcast will be Sunday at 1 p.m. If times change, keep an eye out on our Twitter. We will let you know. So until next time, guys, stay safe. Peace out.